pick Scott Walker as his vice president.
Well, he's not going to win, so
Something
different.
tells me that a Paul Walker campaign would crash and burn. That's so bad. So bad.
Especially since I don't even think he was driving the
He
car.
wasn't. He was a passenger.
Welcome to episode 9 of ZMass Pros Nerd News.
He started with making a stupid face.
What?
It's alright. It's
What?
not like it's the first time I've
What?
made a stupid face on this.
Isn't that just a normal face?
Alright, so yeah, I'll start over then.
No, that's fine.
Just
We can
stupid
just
face.
keep going. That's cool. I don't care.
Alright.
I'm Jeremy. This is Luke, as always, in case they don't know.
Take that, intro.
Yep.
Alright, so first up, on video game news, we have Overwatch.
Overwatch. It's being watched over and over and over.
Maybe.
No.
It could be. Things, stuff. Alright, so anyway, the game went live on the Battle.net launcher. You can click on it, but it only brings you to the website, the launcher website. We have tons of information about stuff. And basically, you can see the gameplay trailer there, the cinematic trailer there, and a link to sign up for the beta. There's also a breakdown of the different characters. The game itself is a team-based shooter, and there are currently 2 modes, a payload mode where you attack the objectives to move a payload to a delivery point while the defenders must thwart the progress of doing so. And then you've got a point capture mode where basically
You capture a point.
yep and
Capture the flag.
and try to defend points.
Yep.
and
Pretty
then-
standard first-person shooter
Yeah, exactly.
stuff. I mean,
especially for a team-based thing.
they're not reinventing the wheel or anything,
No.
which is fine.
And they currently have 3 maps for each mode. It's completely separate maps. You're not going on the same map for each. And then as far as the game itself, you have different characters that have different classes. You've got an offensive class, a defensive class, a tanking class, and a support class. And so far there are 4 characters that are support, 4 that are offense, 3 tanks, and 3 defensive.
Yep.
So it'll probably have an obvious meta because you're probably gonna
Well, it looks and sounds like they're trying to make League of Legends for shooters.
to an extent.
I mean, it's not going to be
Not
exactly
entirely.
the same,
Yeah.
but
It's like they're combining that with your basic shooter gameplay,
well, yeah.
essentially. I don't know. It looks pretty interesting and fun. We'll see
Yeah.
what it is. I signed up for beta, so hopefully I get in on that.
Yep. Speaking of League of Legends with shooters, Battleborn released a big, long 18-minute gameplay trailer
You
and a
watched it.
release date. Yes, I saw it. It looks interesting. They have the voice actor who voices Tiny Tina as one of the characters. So that's
Nice.
awesome. Sounds just like Tiny Tina, only she throws magic. But Magic Tiny Tina is the best kind of Tiny Tina.
They are doomed.
But anyway, it looked cool. They showed off the Clockwork English guy. They showed his entire skill tree, so if you just watch it and actually care. They're really kind of generic skill trees, so
Mhm.
leveling up isn't going to make that big a difference. Because it's just kind of like 5% here, 10% there. It's
Yeah.
kind of meh.
And it's like an either or, right? You
Yeah,
just
yeah,
choose
it's
one
either
or the
or,
other, and then it goes down. Okay.
And I assume it was the whole skill tree as like it stopped.
Yeah.
But that means there's only 10 levels. You can only level up to level 10 per mission.
That makes sense, though, saying it's a permission thing.
Yeah, because you don't keep it the next mission.
Yeah, so you need to have something that you can scale up and
Yeah.
keep in sync with the missions.
And they showed off a lot of that guy's powers, and other guys' powers were in there too, but they didn't show them off so
or like
much.
explain them so much.
Well, they didn't
as much.
explain anything.
Yeah.
There was no talking.
Okay.
But he looked like a sniper.
Yeah.
Because he's got a cane thing. So
Kane sniper rifle.
Yep.
It's awesome.
and it's coming out February 9th of 2016.
It's sweet.
So look forward to that. Next up in
Oh.
video game news is a game neither of us have ever heard about
Nope,
until this week. Kingdom Come Deliverance, which it's a tactical first-person sword fighting game.
/ simulator.
Yes,
It looks a lot like a simulator.
it's rather reminiscent to me of Chivalry or Medieval Chivalry or that game whose name I can't remember anymore. I picked it up when it was like stupid cheap on Steam, but
I see that on there all the time.
Yeah, it looks a lot like that. It's really beautiful game, but they're trying to make it as realistic as they can, which is dangerous.
Yeah. But the way that they're doing it is kind of interesting. I mean, they're adding a kind of technical aspect to it plus an RPG element.
Yeah.
So as you're getting better, your character adapts better to how you play because of the decisions you make RPG-wise. Also, the fighting system was built from scratch using a unique 36-point damage system that basically accounts for different zones with the armor connecting with the sword and body points and stuff like that hitting.
Yep, so if you hit the arm, it's going to damage the arm. You hit the head, it's going to damage the head, and each one has different...
Yeah, and they studied a lot of proper movements and stuff in development and how it's used in the real world.
Yep, they actually talked to people who do this for a living.
Yep.
Unlike, just stunt men who flip and twirl, and it looks awesome, but they would get their ass handed to them.
And they themselves practiced as well.
Yep.
And they were trained how and do stuff like that in the office day to day. They did a bunch of mocap, and then they also not only just used the mocap, like a lot of games, you'll just mocap it and leave it. They're taking the mocap and then manipulating it themselves so that it translates in game a lot better. Because the thing that I like that they said is that you have to account for the delay between the controller and the game. Because the AI is always going to be smooth. The player isn't always going to be smooth. So they're trying to account for that lag time and add in the games a system that makes it so you can actually play it better that way. Because they have 2,000 animations just for one weapon alone.
Well, yeah.
And they're going to add slightly heavier, broader strokes for the people that you're fighting so you can get used to the gameplay.
Well, you have to.
Exactly.
I mean, a real swordsman, you can't react fast enough, especially with a gamepad, because it's not your natural instinct to go like that. You're just going to move to the left or whatever.
Yep.
But so they have to cheese it up a little bit, otherwise the game's just not going to work. But.
Yeah. But it's going to be interesting because, like I said, with the RPG's elements, they're going to take that so that in that way your character, after a while, starts moving faster for you while you're getting the hang of how the gameplay plays. So you'll progress with it.
And, of course, we will have links in the description for all this stuff we're talking about.
Yep. Finally, with all of our video game news and whatnot, Crackdown 3, Quantum Break, and Scalebound are likely to hit PC as well. According to Phil Spencer. Yep. I mean, most of the time we kind of assume something's going to hit PC to some extent.
Well, yeah. It's going to be a crappy port, though.
Yeah.
Because it's always a crappy port.
But yeah, I don't even feel like reading the entire quote. We'll have a link.
Lazy!
Because that's the story. We don't even need to hear what the dude said.
Who cares what he said? Fuck him. He's a douche anyway.
We've got a lot of other stories this week.
Okay. Movie news.
Movie news. Lots of Star Wars news this week.
Yep. Star Wars.
Yep.
It's like wars.
In the stars?
In the stars. No, just one star.
Okay.
In the star.
In the star.
Kind of got away from you, didn't it?
Get away from you.
So it should be called Sun Wars, not Star Wars.
No, only if it's this. Only if it's that star.
Got it.
Anyway.
Yep. Anyway, first up, in Star Wars news, the new Korean trailer dropped and had one new scene.
Woo!
Of the First Order. There you go. You've probably seen the pictures all over the internet. If not, we'll have a link to the trailer below.
Yep.
Next up, first look at Luke Skywalker in his Jedi outfit.
I bet he looks like Mark Hamill.
Yeah. And Mark Hamill looks like Luke Skywalker. Old Luke Skywalker with a beard.
Yeah, he's old.
and Jedi garb right there in the thingy. Yeah, that'll be there. Also, apparently, Benicio del Toro, after news from last week, apparently has confirmed his role in Star Wars. He says that he can't talk much about it, but he's very excited. It's supposedly happening.
I don't remember that last week, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That was a week ago.
And then finally, we have new news on Mr. crazy Claymore lightsaber guy.
Oh, yeah.
Kylo
guy.
Ren. Apparently, Kylo Ren is going to be the anti-Luke Skywalker who's come from nothing. But instead of being light side, he's dark side.
Wait, what do you mean come from? Like Anakin, no father? Jesus
Well,
metaphor?
like Skywalker, or like Luke Skywalker. Because he's come from just a simple farming life, etc.
Okay.
Like a simple life,
I
and rises above.
I thought you meant like Jesus metaphor.
No.
'Cause that was Anakin. Came from literally nothing.
But yeah, so apparently he's coming from like
Cool.
nothing like that and stuff.
I hope he wins.
And also apparently, J.J. Abrams has hinted that Kylo Ren isn't his real name.
Well, that's good. It's a stupid name.
So it's probably just his title.
Well, either that or it's a fake name.
Yep. His
real name is Jeff Skywalker.
There we go. You heard it here first, folks. Jeff Skywalker.
Yep. Anakin's bastard son. Next up is Batman versus Superman.
Hey.
Last week after filming it, news hit about a private screening getting a standing ovation.
Mm-hmm.
So, apparently the movie's good, according to these people.
Yep.
Or at least the unfinished thing.
It's good.
Probably like the new Fantastic Four movie too.
Well, yeah, and so apparently they're fast tracking a Batman trilogy after this, or after that stuff with the ovations.
It's probably premature, but whatever.
Yeah. And then finally, in spoiler news,
Spoiler news.
sort of, it's a rumor, so it's probably not a real spoiler, but apparently there's a rumor that there's a fight between Wonder Woman and Doomsday in the movie while Batman and Superman are fighting each other. And apparently Wonder Woman cuts off Doomsday's hand, and Doomsday grows back an appendage that is a big blade.
Okay.
Yep. So, next up in movie news, we have Civil War. First in Civil War news, Spider-Man will apparently have 2 costumes, which we've kind of been assuming. Anyway, the next up on Civil War news, Black Panther images have dropped from on the set, along with him and Winter Soldier.
Is it black?
Yep.
That's good.
And it's pre-rendered, so apparently they're going to have some stuff to kind of tighten it up a bit, make it look a little prettier.
Next up is some Disney Pixar news. They have announced Toy Story 4, which isn't really news.
Yeah.
It's supposed to focus on Woody and his relationship with Bo Peep.
Yep. And then also at D3 they announced Incredibles 2 and Cars 3. And obviously the Toy Story 4 news with posters.
Posters!
Which have been showing as we're talking.
Incredibles 2 is kind of awesome, but
Yep.
I could give 2 fucks about Cars 3.
Yeah, exactly. Never even seen the first one.
First
I
one
never
was
cared.
fine.
I never
Never
cared.
saw the second one.
Well, the Hateful Eight trailer dropped.
Yep, it's a Hateful Eight trailer.
Yeah. It's probably going to be lame.
There's going to be snakes on that wagon. Samuel Jackson.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking about it now, because that would actually make the movie better.
A new director would also make that movie better.
Mayhaps. Well, the only 2 movies I've liked by Tarantino have been his last 2, which isn't saying much.
He had Django, and then what was...
Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, I didn't like that movie very much. It was kind of boring.
Yeah.
I felt it was kind of boring.
Yeah.
The Nazi was the only good character out of any of them.
Yeah,
I think that was
that's
more
true.
the actor than it was the
Yeah.
character.
But that's what I like the movie, because Christoph Waltz just nails it in that movie.
Yeah, he does
He
really
makes it
well,
worth it.
but-
Like, just fast forward through scenes until you get to Christoph Waltz, and then go to the next scene with Christoph Waltz. Just make it a Christoph Waltz movie.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, Hateful Eight.
Yep.
Trailer was all spaghetti westerny-ish, I guess. I don't know. It looks
Wow.
like a weird and kind of dumb story.
Yeah, of course it is. Whatever.
Anyway, and that's all on that.
Next up is another Predator movie coming out,
Mm-hmm.
which is always fun. I always like the Predator movies.
Yep, me
Even
too.
the really crappy ones, except for AVPR. That was terrible and
Yeah,
awful.
but the Predator.
They should be ashamed
But
of
the Predator
themselves.
in the movie was the good part about the movie.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, you
movie-
didn't see enough of the Predator to make to save the movie.
And they tried to do that weird, we're going back to our horror roots thing, and it didn't work.
Well, especially since Predator does not have horror roots.
No, not really.
It does not. It's an action flick.
Yeah. It's an action
And,
sci-fi.
and yeah, the first Aliens was a horror-ish movie.
Yeah.
But none of the other ones were.
3 kind of was.
3 doesn't exist.
I know. But still,
3
it
is
kind
not
of was.
canon, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's because it was awful. But yeah, 3 doesn't matter.
But yeah, so in the Predator sequel coming up, Shane Black from Iron Man 3 and the Lethal Weapon series is set to direct and write most of it, I think. And then with the producer John Davis from iRobot and Fred Decker, who has done stuff that I'm not that excited about.
Well,
He did RoboCop 3 and some Star Trek Enterprise movies.
but the other 2, iRobot, it was a good movie.
Yep.
And Lethal Weapon's good.
Hmm.
And so was Iron Man 3.
Yeah. And Shane Black, it's like...
Despite how they bastardized the Mandarin.
Yeah. But like, Shane Black, like, having that kind of Lethal Weapon experience is the same vein that Predator needs to be in.
Yeah,
He said he's reinventing it.
especially since Danny Glover was in both.
Yep.
You should get Danny Glover to be in this movie.
Yeah.
Just like an old, wrinkly guy kicking the shit out of a predator. It'd be awesome. Old, wrinkly black guy who's too old for this shit. Like, quite literally too old for that shit.
That just reminded me of an episode of Red Letter Media's Best of the Worst. Where they had those 3 movies where each movie had a badass old guy.
Yep.
But yeah, Predator movie. We'll keep our noses
Yeah.
on that one, obviously.
Hopefully it's good.
Yep. 'Cause
I'm
I
sure
love me
we'll
some
do a
Predator.
review. At least if it's bad,
Yeah.
we'll do something. If it's good, we'll still probably do something.
Yeah. All right. And that's it for movie news.
Now, for some TV news this week, Game of Thrones has cast a young Ned Stark. So apparently they're going to be doing more in the flashback
Vein.
area, which if it's small little tidbits, I'm fine with. But if they just start veering to
Into
fucking
flashbacks.
flashback zone,
Yeah.
it's going to destroy the series. You can't...
Especially with a shaky last season.
Yeah, like that one flashback was good. It was in the books and it worked, although they changed it. And that's fine. But don't flashback to the entire rebellion unless you're going to have a spin-off series. Like, you could have an episode like that and then spin it off into its own series, and that would be cool.
That would be kind of cool.
And have the whole story of Robert's rebellion or, whatever. Although that would be boring for me.
Yeah.
But my least favorite time in Westeros history, but whatever.
Well, yeah, like, I don't know, they could do anything with it. It's probably going to be to set up a different character that's currently there to kind of show information on that.
Hopefully. But anyway, that actor is Sebastian Croft, who might have a picture here.
Yeah. As long as he has a picture on the interwebs, we will place it
I'm
there.
sure he does. I mean, that would
It'll
be
right
weird.
there.
And if not, it'll be one of those weird images where, like, photo not available. But it'll be a picture of, like, Steve Buscemi or something. Photo not just to...
He should be the new stand-in whenever you can't find a
Yep.
photo of someone.
Yep.
Steve Buscemi.
Yep.
Next on TV news, Supergirl. Yay. Plans to bring in popular B-list heroes and villains, such as the Red Tornado, whom Red Tornado, if you've watched the cartoon Young Justice, was a big character in that first season, I think. Don't think he really played much of a role the second season. They also recently cast the characters of Livewire, who spawned off of the original Superman animated series. She was kind of like their version of a Harley Quinn, who then was later adapted in the comics. And Reactron, who I have no clue who he is.
But he reacts
Apparently.
in a computer.
Possibly.
Because it's Tron.
I don't know, it's comic book. It could just be something where they just gave him the name because it sounded cool.
He's like part nuclear reactor.
That would actually be kind of cool.
Well, then
Anyway. Along with General Sam Lane. And
It's not even a hard name to pronounce.
Nope, it isn't. I just couldn't do it for some reason.
What do you want to say, General Samlin?
Something like that. 'Cause
That
it's-
would be a better name.
And then some Kryptonian villain, I can't talk all of a sudden, called Non.
Not to be confused with the Indian flatbread. which is delicious, by the way. Next up, we have Friday the 13th news. Apparently, the CW is going to be making a Friday the 13th show, which is going to be awful.
Most likely.
They're not going to be able to do anything cool with it because it's on the CW.
Yeah, quite possibly. But at the same time, when I heard about it, I thought, oh, this sounds stupid. And then I saw that currently Steve Mitchell and Craig Van Sickle, both writers from the series The Pretender. God.
The Pretending Predator.
The Pretender, a really good series if you haven't seen it, have been hired to write the series.
So hopefully they can get some good stuff out of it.
Yep, because they're a creative bunch.
Yeah.
And a damn good creative bunch, too. Also, so there's 2 producers from the last Rambo movie.
Okay.
Yep. Randall Emmett and George Furla. They also did End of Watch and Lone Survivor.
Okay.
So some movies that are kind of okay. Pretty good movies.
Haven't seen any of them.
Then the producer Mark Canton, who is from both 300 movies. And finally, their last executive producer is Sean S. Cunningham, who's done 4 different Friday the 13th movies, including the original.
Yep. So at least they have some original people there.
Yep.
Maybe they can actually keep the B-movie horror vibe going.
Yeah.
But I would be very surprised if they pull it off.
Yeah, which would be really cool, saying they're trying to do it with a more grounded feeling to it, or they're going to focus on the actual camp members showing up and dealing with Jason.
Yeah, which could be cool if they actually write good characters.
Yeah.
That someone can care about, because that's where most horror things fall apart. The characters are flat, so you don't care when they die. Half the time, I'm rooting for them to die because I'm sick of seeing their faces.
That happens.
It's like, oh my god, just die already. I wish you were the black guy so you would have died first. Ugh.
Oh, horror movie stereotypes. But yeah, so saying they're trying to do it in like more grounded feeling, it'd be really cool if they can keep that B movie aspect to it as well.
I mean,
that's really...
without it, I don't think it's really Friday the 13th.
Yeah. And the other thing that I've been noticing a lot of series have been starting to catch on to is having the 10 to 13 episode arc, so they can do a better job of just telling a story straight.
And that way, the production value
Yep.
goes through the roof when you don't have to make 20 episode things.
So I'm hoping that maybe they'll lock it in at about 13, maybe 16 max.
Yeah,
so that way
that would be fine. Yeah,
because because CW
and have
normally
hour-long episodes or something.
Because CW normally has like 24 to 30 episodes a season.
That's how most national shows are.
In a way that I don't think that would work with Friday the 13th. I think it needs to be something that's like a summer, 10 to 13 episode run, and then you do it again next season, etc.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool. Or like an October thing.
Yeah.
Like the fall would be perfect time for that because you have Halloween coming up, like in August to November.
Yeah.
Kind of stretch.
Yeah, because that would give them much better chances to even develop those characters.
Yeah.
Because you could have a few throwaway characters, and then that'd give you a good 3 to 4 episodes to really develop characters. And then if a character starts to die, you actually already kind of are attached to that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than being like the new Scream TV show that's on MTV, where they just start killing people off left and right, so you never get attached.
There's the Scream TV show?
Yep. Oh. I stopped watching after the 3rd episode.
Well, it's on MTV.
So, yeah.
At least there's a kicking soundtrack. No, probably not.
There actually
probably
was.
Rihanna. No offense, Rihanna. I don't like your music.
All right, so next on TV news, Arrow.
Yep.
They've had a lot of confirmed new cast members, but the only one that matters is Constantine from the NBC series is back, reprising his role as Constantine. Also, it's been said that he'll also be reprising that role on the other TV shows like Legends of Tomorrow and Flash.
Yep, so he still has a job. At least one person got to keep his job from that show.
Yep. And he's basically going to be their supernatural informant. Also, in the picture thing right here, we have the quiver.
The quiver!
So yeah, there's a new quiver for season 4. If you don't know why I'm calling it quiver, it's because of an Injustice comic book.
Which will be right here, right now. Maybe.
I have the picture laying around, so it should be there.
I'm holding it up. Next up, for more comic book TV news,
Stuff, things.
Netflix has...
Netflix has leaked some pictures from Daredevil of the Punisher being Punishery.
Yep.
Beating people up in the middle of a carnival.
Yep. Saying, "This is your punishment." I don't know if he actually said that, but that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Just like that. I should be the Punisher.
Get on it, Marvel.
Yep. I'll take the job.
Or you could, like, do ADR. Just completely get rid of the other dude's voice.
Everything he says,
I'll take a latte.
yep, just like that. It has been announced that HBO has purchased, or at least has signed a deal with PBS that Sesame Street is going to be airing on HBO first for the next 5 years, and then a couple months later it's going to be on PBS for free. But this is what happens when you elect Republicans. I mean, it's...
Sorry, Sesame Street.
I would so love it if they went dark with Sesame Street. Like, even if it's just a parody episode, just go super dark, have Elmo stabbing Big Bird.
They need to have a Sesame Street AM and PM version.
Yep. That would be so amazing.
The AM version is for the kids normally.
Yep.
The PM version is the one that puts the kids to sleep, so then about halfway through it, it just suddenly turns dark all of a sudden for the parents.
Yes, that would be amazing. Just Game of Thrones it up, start stabbing
For all I
people.
know, that's what used to happen with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So I always fell asleep within the first, 10 minutes of
It
that
didn't.
show.
I actually saw an episode. But
Yeah.
at least when the cameras went off, though,
True.
all bets were off.
True.
No, he was a lovely man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking out my ass.
And that's it for TV news.
Finally, this week, we leave you with a couple cool little side stories.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the show Arrow has released a deleted stunt scene montage of sorts.
Yep.
Just kind of awesome stunts that they had that didn't make it into the show.
Because they do really good stunt work in that show, and they always put out little stuff that shows different scenes and how they did them and broke them down. And saying the next season is coming, it makes sense to put out something to just kind of show, oh, well, these are all the really cool stuff we wanted to put in, but didn't have the time to, or for whatever reason we had to change up to tell a different story, etc.
Which is cool. That just seems like they respect their stuntmen and people.
Yep.
Because these people break their bodies, and half the shit they do never gets seen.
Especially with a show like Arrow, where that's been its major driving point, is that it's always had some really good stunts, because they really lay it all out in that show. So, yeah, we'll have that for you in an annotation and a link and stuff like normal.
And a turd. You have to put a turd in this episode now.
Okay. Rainbow poo.
Yep.
There we go. So yeah, and then finally, for some miscellaneous stuff, Marvel has announced a new Deadpool and Cable series.
Awesome.
They've also released the hip-hop inspired variant artwork covers, of which right now I have the Spider-Man 2099 one as a wallpaper, because it is awesome.
It is pretty cool.
As I looked over to it just now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the end of the show.
See you next week. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
And then unsubscribe to see how many subscribers we have. Then to subscribe again. And then like us on Facebook and Twitter. And then yell at us for being nerds. Or
That
something.
works. Also, if there's any news.
Talk to us, you jerks.
If there's any news we missed or didn't have time to cover, let us know in the comments.
Yep.
And also, let us know what you thought.
Yep.
See you next time.
Ta-ta.
Bye.